So there's a new post in Google Classroom, and it says turn in cat or man here. So for this project, you get to pick and either work on last name man or last name cat. I'm going to choose last name man. So I'm clicking on the image that I want to work with, and then I right click on it and save image as. I need to navigate to my folder, which I'm already in, but you would do desktop, your folder. And then I am erasing the copy of last name and writing my last name, which is Farrell. And then the project that I'm working on is man, and I press save. Now I can click on this image on the bottom corner, and it will automatically launch into Photoshop. In order to figure out what I need to do, I'm going to open up the steps worksheet. And I've already gone to Google Classroom and downloaded an image or photo to open in Photoshop. As soon as that image opens in Photoshop, you're going to do a file save as and rename it what it is. So I'm just going to go back and check and make sure. File save as. It is in my folder, and it is man. And we're not working with layers, so you can leave it as a JPEG. And I'm pressing save. Okay. It's the highest. Okay. The two tools that we are going to be working with are the clone stamp and the healing brush. If I press the letter S, it will get me quickly to the clone stamp tool. If I press J, it will get me quick to the healing brush tool. For this assignment, we will use both. Today, I am going to start with S stamp, and as you can see, it quickly highlights that. Press and hold. We have to only work with the clone stamp. So I'm going to click on that. And then this is the part that gets a little bit tricky, but once you get it, it's great. We again are continuing to use our brackets, which are located next to the letter P, to change the size of our brush. And I say if it's a small problem, we use a small brush. If it's a big problem, we use a big brush. And I want to sample an area that is not damaged by pressing and holding the Alt key. I'll notice that the cursor changes over to these crosshairs. I place these crosshairs over the area that I want to copy. I click once with the mouse and then release the Alt key. I'll notice that there's a plus and a circle. The plus is the area that's being copied, and the circle is the area that's getting pasted to. And then I begin to clean up the damaged photograph. Those are the only steps. So this is the area that you're really going to focus on today. Clone stamp does an exact copy and paste, whereas the healing brush blends and blurs. I'm going to make sure that my brush size matches the size of my problem. And then this area here I'll show you right now. So I'm going into Photoshop. I'm doing Control+. I'm zooming on an area that is not damaged right here, and this is an area that is. When I press and hold the Alt key, you can see that my cursor changes. If I click once in this area, then I bring my mouse over here and I press down. The circle is the area that's being pasted to, and that plus sign up there is the area that I Alt-clicked, meaning I pressed and held the Alt key, and I clicked once with my mouse. By doing that, I am now telling the computer to take a copy and paste of that area. Since it's a clone, it's a copy and paste. Again, Alt-clicking down here, and you'll watch that plus sign moves as I move across. So it's really important, Alt-click again, that you continue to Alt-click throughout working on this project. You cannot just Alt-click once and stop. The reason why you cannot Alt-click once and stop is, let me show you. If I was, let's say, over here, and I Alt-click here, and I keep working, do you see how that is not good? Okay? That is not good. The Alt-click is moving that ear up there. So I'm going into my history and undoing. All right? So again, you press and hold the Alt-click, go, press and hold Alt, click with your mouse, and go, press and hold Alt, click. And again, I'm taking it down to the good areas and then then pasting over those bad areas. The brush that I am currently using right now is a soft edge brush. You can see that there. If I did a hard edge brush, that might not work as well in this gradient background. So let me show you. I don't know if you can see on screen, but if I was to zoom in, it creates almost like these patchy little pieces, okay? So it's better to use the soft edge. Now, I want to show you if I decide to alt-click on the eye, that means that's the area that I'm going to copy. So again, do you see how that plus sign is going over the eye, okay? This is a hard edge, so the edge of that is hard. I'm going to undo. I'm going to do the exact same thing with a soft edge so you can see the difference. So you see how that creates a softer edge, okay? So I'm going to undo that. Now I want to show you guys the healing brush. So again, you have to press and hold and make sure that you're working with this one, not spot. So here's the healing brush. And if I press and hold it over the eye, alt-click, and I bring it over here, it looks exactly like the clone brush. But as soon as I let it go, it's very different. So what happens is the eye that's getting pasted is what is called the foreground. It's in front of. And the area that already exists, which is that gray area, is called the background. So when I take the foreground, the eye, and paste it on top of the background, which is that gray gradient, it then blends those two together. Do you see how that's blending them? Again, that's not helpful. But there are areas where this is helpful. So up here, remember those hard areas that we didn't like from the clone stamp? Well, by using the healing brush, we can blend and blur. I describe it as using oil pastels. So when you use an oil pastel and then you want to blend and blur, you go over that area multiple times so that it smudges or smears in. And that's what we're looking for here with this healing brush. Again, every single time you see this image, this little icon on my screen, that means that I'm pressing and holding that Alt key and then clicking again. You'll also see over here in my history menu all the times that I have clicked with my mouse so far. Because this is a soft, blurry area of a shadow for his forehead, I would use the healing brush because it blends and blurs. And I would also, I just did an undo, and I'm making my brush a little bit smaller so that my brush matches the size of my problem. And then in his hair, again, this is a blend and blur area. Whereas over here, I would switch back to the clone stamp. And then over here, I would switch back to the clone stamp. And again, I am copying an area that is close to the damaged area so that it doesn't look like a mistake. I am using the soft edge brush with the clone. That will work on these areas, but like on the edge of the ear here, that's what's called a hard edge because it's skin. So I am going to make sure that I switch to the hard edge brush and make it smaller. I alt-click over here, and then I'm just going to undo that. That doesn't work as well as I want. And there you go. Come down here. This is yet again another hard edge. So I'm alt-clicking up here, making my brush just a little bit larger using those brackets. Or I could be really fancy and alt-click right there and then take that down. And then on this part of the jacket, I alt-click down here and bring that up. Not only are we getting rid of the bigger spots, but see all these tiny little black spots and these tiny little white spots and the damage on the tie? Those are all areas that you're going to be working on. Again, I'm using that grab tool to move around. I'm using Control plus and minus and Control 0 to zoom in and out. And you'll see that there is a difference from when we started to where we are right now, okay? You guys are going to spend definitely one entire class period working today, and then if you need to spend more time, you can. So again, looking back at those steps, go to the toolbar located on the left and find the clone stamp tool. Make sure you're clicking S, and make sure you're using only this tool. And then make sure you're clicking J and only using this tool, not the spot healing. There's only 2 tools that you're going to be using for this project. If you make a mistake, fix it in your history immediately. Don't try to cover it up. It does not come out well, and kids have to start over when they do that. Use your brackets, which are located next to the letter P. And then this is the area you're going to spend the most time on. Sample an area that is not damaged, so that good, clean background area. Get your mouse where you want it to be. By pressing and holding the Alt key, click once with your mouse, and then you'll notice that the cursor changes to this. Place it over the area you want to copy, click once with your mouse, and then release that Alt key. The plus is the area that's being copied. Circle is the area that's being pasted to. Okay, Alt-click. That plus sign is the area that's being copied. The circle is the area that's being pasted to. Or right to drive that idea home. Feel free to play around and do this on your computer. Press and hold the Alt key, click on the eye, and make a duplicate eye over here so you can get the hang of it. Just simply remember, go back in your history to undo. At the end of the day today, make sure you do a save as. Again, you can leave it as a JPEG because we're only working in one layer. You can make sure it's to your folder. You named it correctly. You press save. Yes, you want to replace it. Yes. And you're ready to go for the day.